Hello, friend. I love human design, and my view and my vision, pretty much everything that I see happening in the world, experiences that I have, interactions when I watch other people, because now I'm a people watcher. That's what I do. I watch them, um, and it's fun. It's really fun. And there's a few things that are curiosities in the human design system. And perversion, I have done a video about the line within the 58th gate or trait that is perversion. And now what I want to talk to you about is corruption. And the reason this one comes to me, wrong way, is here. This 50th trait that I have, this is my particular body graph. You guys have seen it a couple times. I actually have corruption in this 50th trait. And that the 50th trait is about values. It's like, how is it possible that corruption is a part of our values? And I'm just going to grab my I Ching book. I have copious amounts of notes in here. So anytime I am studying or in class or have a conversation with someone, or I have a session with someone, and it's like, oh, now I get to see at a completely different level how a particular line or gait or trait or quality or a tone or a color or a base, like how is it actually presented, right? Like I could read books, you can read books, you can watch like millions of hours of videos on YouTube about human design. Like I could talk about it for, well, I'm getting close to 200 different videos on here. Like I could talk forever about it. But it's about witnessing it in the world, and how is it playing out? Like how is that playing out? How is that particular line or trait or gait or quality, how is it playing out in the world? And then you get to see the duality of it all. So every single gate has 6 lines, right? Every single gate has 6 lines. So we might as well go to the 50th because that's what we're talking about. Every single some of the gates, okay, they all have 6 lines, but every line does not have a detriment and a exaltation. Some of them just have exaltation, some of them just have detriments. So it's not that every single line has, or every single line has a detriment and an exaltation, because that's not truth. So when you look at corruption, corruption is within my body graph. It sits in my body graph, and I'm just going to show you here. So it sits here. It sits in and that is Uranus. And Uranus is unusualness. Interesting, right? So the 50th trait is actually very conservative. And the 50th trait is, from the first line up to the 6th line. It says the immigrant, determination, adaptability, corruption, consistency, and then leadership. And it's interesting, right? Because this is all about values. But what we're going to talk about today is this corruption. And what came to me over the last couple weeks, and I just been kind of sitting on this, right? If there's some kind of interesting piece in your human design, of course the mind wants to go like, I'm not corrupt. Oh, I'm not this. I'm not that. I don't have perversion, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I don't, struggle. Oh, I don't want to struggle. There's all these different little nuances that happen in a body graph. And for the most part, not everybody's getting out with rainbows and sunshine. There's going to be some challenge there. And what I love is that I actually have the 50th gate here, and it's corruption. My 18th trait is the incompetent. And I'm going to go over that as well. So how I see corruption is that there is corruption in the world. There is. When you look at the body graph, when you look at every single quality line, every single blue line, like all of it, when you take a look at all of these keynotes, right, and you walk through all of the keynotes, because every single gate has keynoting, and when you walk through all this energy, you can watch it play out in the planet. And like I was trying to say, there's a duality here. So sometimes it's playing out good, sometimes it's playing out bad. We don't know how it's going to play out, and we don't know how people are. Like, are they fully, walking through life in their not self? Are they I don't think anybody's perfect, and I don't think anybody could ever walk through life not touching their not self at all. I don't think that's possible, because it's like all it does is it's just kind of keeping us there. It's like bumpers on a bowling alley, right? We put up the bumpers and we kind of keep ourselves, moving towards the pins. But the duality is that, it can be good and it could be bad, or however you want to call it, right? The black and the white, and really what we're trying to do is move it to this gray area where we're trying to blend it a little and bring it more into the middle to balance the tipping of the scales. But corruption, do you see where it is? Do you see what side of the body graph it is? This is the splenic center. And in numerous videos, I have indicated that the splenic center is the logical side of the body graph. And what is logic doing? Logic is moving us vitally into the future. Also, what does logic need? Logic needs to be funded. It needs resources. It needs energy. Yes, there is, a fuel here from the root and a motor here from the root, but it's starved of energy. The spleen is just an awareness center. Unlike the other side, right? We have the solar plex. The solar plex, well, it's also a motor. And there's lots of, motors happening over here on the experience side. You can feel it, right? There's this motion. There's this motion happening over here. Over here, that's not happening. Logic absolutely sitting in this 4816, and they are constantly perfecting, mastering, and mastering. Not really experiencing, right? They are perfecting and mastering. So they need to be funded. Because where does the athlete need to be? The athlete needs to be either in the gym or on the field or on the court or whatever it is, right? They need to be in the pool. They need to be mastering their skill, and somebody needs to sponsor that. Somebody needs to pay for that. So what we can do here is I watch conspiracy theories. I watch all kinds of different things, right? And I that's what I love. My first line mind craves to see it all, to see the big picture, to watch it, to watch how solid foundations can be built, and then the rug gets pulled out. I watch all of this stuff. So I'm paying attention to the corruption. Again, part of my body graph is paying attention to corruption. And I get to then watch how the money, the resources, the wealth can fund this logical movement into the future in a very corrupt way or not. And what I also have like deeply resonated with is why and how and when did it happen that we decided that, you know, a gold bar or a silver coin meant more than a human life? When did we decide that a commodity outside of us meant more than the human value? When did we choose to give money more power over us than we hold within ourselves? I know if I traced it back, I could, you know, and conspiracy theorists do this all the time. There's a few YouTube channels that I love to watch, and they study all of this stuff, and they go back, because I'm studying other stuff called Human Design. But if we were to absolutely watch the continuity and the string of how this all took place for us to get to where we are, and we could totally see how we were completely fucking duped, how the corruption was so great that we willingly allowed for our health, our awareness to be stripped of us and handed over to money. So if, again, everything in the human design system is present on our planet, because it is, if one little piece is missing, then this mandala is no longer, it's completely shattered. So what's fun is that when whatever you have in your design, whatever frequency you have in your design, whatever channels, whatever gates, whatever traits, whatever your tone is, whatever your color is, whatever your base is, stand in it, meditate on it, and watch how it presents itself to you, so you can comprehend it in a way that nobody else can, because it's happening through your frequency. So play with that. Corruption, I see it, I sense it. I totally watch what people want, and then I totally watch how people screw other people over. You know, here's an example, and I think I chatted about this in another video, but, or maybe not, maybe that was in class, I can't remember. CBD oil. CBD oil has, you know, this big explosion is happening. I trust CBD oil. I believe that, you know, a plant that was created by Creator and put on this world, it's meant to be here. There's some kind of purpose. And when you look at all of the different studies, different science, and you're able to just kind of piece it together properly for you, like CBD is great for human beings. It's great for us. However, of course, what's going to happen? People are going to corrupt the shit out of this. So what they found a lot. I have no idea if it's happening worldwide, but the example that I have is from the United States. And this young man, he was 22-ish. His friend said, you know, you should try this CBD stuff. It's great for anxiety. And his friend's like, well, I don't know. I don't really think I need it. I don't know. I don't really think I want to try it. Because he didn't know enough about it. And his friend pressured him and pressured him and pressured him. So conditioned him, conditioned him, conditioned him. And then finally he gave in. And they went to this store, and this is, you know, this big flashy sign, oh, CBD oil sold here. And they got a vape pen. I don't know much about those, but I can see that there's lots of corruption happening with them. They could have been, you know, really good for people. However, there's a massive amount of corruption. So these two kids buy these vape pens, and the guy that didn't even want to try it tries it. And within minutes, his physical body is shutting down. And his friend is panicking. Thankfully, his friend didn't try it either, because if so, they probably both would have been dead right there in the vehicle. And his friend drives him to the hospital. And they get there, and like, this kid is, his brain activity, I guess normal is it, they put you on a scale of 1 to 10. He was at a 3. So basically, he was brain dead. And his physical body was shutting down. And of course, the doctors are like completely baffled. Why is this happening? And the friend goes, look, we went to the store and we bought these vape pens, and he tried it. It's supposed to have CBD. So they test this, and the CBD that was placed in these vape pens, of course, was synthetic. It's fake. Corruption, people. Corruption. If something is going to make money, those corrupted values don't give a shit about the health and the wellness at all. Don't care. Corruption doesn't care. It's sitting there. It's sitting there in the spleen. But it's so starved of resources that it will take its resources from a life if it has to. So follow the money. Follow the money. I believe that a reputable source, a reputable CBD distributor, someone that actually is doing it for the right values, for the correct values, to assist human beings in their path to wellness, is totally different than someone selling it as a craze, as a fad, to just line their own pockets. So if you have an example of a trait or a gate in the human design system that, you know, maybe feels a little negative, like corruption, ooh, I have corrupt values. Well, yeah, sometimes there is some of that happening. I could totally, I've watched it in my life. However, I've never, ever, ever been willing to take the life of someone to line my own pockets. But this is happening. This is how far gone and how deep corruption can get. When a human life is no longer valued, it is the dollar, the money that's valued over this. So again, if you have something in your body graph, please share it below. Email me. Let's bring all of this stuff to light so that you can learn about it, I can learn about it, and we can watch it take place on our planet and move it into the middle. Instead of having way out here and tipping the scales all the time, we can bring it in. We can bring it in. You know, the little bit of corruption that's happened in my life that, you know, I did never hurt anybody. And that's where we can bring it in. It's in the body graph. It's meant to be there. So follow the money. Follow the money. If you're wondering, if you need a formula, if you're doubting stuff, follow the money. Because the money will tell you, was there some corrupt values behind this? Was the company only interested in lining their own pockets? Or is the company actually interested in the health and the wellness, the safety and the movement forward of the human species? Or are they just doing it for the money? And they don't give a shit. Because they're in their yacht, they're on their, living the high life. And they've distanced themselves so far that they don't care. And we can watch this. We can watch this, you know, I use CBD as one example, but we can watch this in so much. So much. So follow the money. And if you feel like it isn't correct for you, if your decision making is saying no, trust your physical body. You know, this young man did not want to ingest this CBD, but because of peer pressure and conditioning, he did it, and he went to the brink of death. And of course, he's a great teacher for me. So, was it worth it? Possibly, because maybe he's saving more lives. I don't know. But it's about you as in your experiment. Follow the money. Watch what's going on. Be aware. What is the Splenic Center doing? It is about awareness. Be aware. What is corrupt? What is going on? Where's the money going? What's happening? Is that money funding sex trafficking? Is that money funding drugs? Is that money funding, you know, the pollution of the planet? Like, what is the money going towards? And then you'll know. Then you'll know. Is it healthy for me or is it not? All right. Thank you.